Good morning, traders. It is Monday, April 22nd, 5:45 a.m., and I am Jonathan van Clute with Stock Navigators. And a quick reminder to please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Give us a thumbs up on this video if you could, please. And give me some feedback in the comments below if there's any symbols that you'd like me to look at or analyze, or there's anything you'd like me to explain or do more of, or anything like that at all, anything that can help you in your trading. All right, for right now, let us take a peek at the markets this morning. Here's the S&P 500, which is always where I start if you are new to the channel. This is the routine that I go through. First, looking at the S&P, and yes, we're still pushing up, pushing up, pushing up, but take a look at this. We have definitely been bumping our head against significant overhead resistance for a good number of sessions now. The ranges are very, very small, and there's just been no ability to get up over that blue line and up into this zone here. This is our sell zone, which is, if I zoom out a little bit, based on the all-time highs from back here. And it is impressive that the market has actually been able to push up this far. It did back off a little bit once it got to this zone here, which was the previous triple top. You can see here it pulled up and then couldn't do it and tried one more time, did break through, pulled back in, confirmed, and then went higher. But all that time, look what the oscillator is doing, weaker and weaker and weaker, and then kind of flat. So things are looking not so strong. The momentum is draining out of this move. However, that being said, it is still up. Right now, the trend is up. You can very clearly see the 21 EMA is pointing up, and there is still momentum in the market. We are still up over the zero line. The bulls right now are still in control. So this is where things start to get a little bit dicey as far as trading goes, is when you know you're in an area where a reversal is likely to shape up, but it's just not there yet. You don't want to be too early. You don't want to be too late. What do you do? So the best thing to do right now, if you are a longer term trader, if I was swing trading the S&P 500, for example, which means holding for days to weeks, I would probably not be crazy about initiating a new bullish or long position at this level. I would not want to be doing that while we are bumping our head up into a very significant resistance. Markets can't move in a straight line ever. They always have to go up and back and up and back and or down and back and down and back. They have to wiggle. They have to move around. So we need a pullback here. And a reasonable pullback would probably be to somewhere roughly around here without actually drawing my retracement lines. It'll be somewhere in there. So that is what I'm really looking for, to feel confident in any kind of a significant, a longer position for a longer period of time. Now, as a day trader, however, which is primarily what I focus on, I don't really care. I am mostly focused on just the intraday movements, and there is plenty of movement to be had. Even on these small range days, there is still plenty of movement to be had. So that is my focus is more on the daily, or sorry, more on the intraday than the daily. But I still always want to know what the daily is doing, because if I see this, then I know, okay, in the fairly near future, I'm going to be looking for a nice short position. I am probably going to want to catch that nice pullback and catch as much of it as I can. So I'm just mentally getting myself ready for that, but it's not here yet. Right now, still plenty of momentum in the market. So got to trade that accordingly. On the 60-minute, zoom out a little bit here, you can see that it's been a little bit sideways-ish chaotic lately. It's not been just a nice straight push higher and just continuing higher highs and higher lows. It's been kind of some sideways, then a little bit of up, and then some sideways, and then down, and then sideways. And this is really just showing us a close-up view of what's been going on here, which is kind of just range-bound and not really moving anywhere. Also, you can see the momentum is kind of draining out of this as well. As price goes higher and higher and higher, the oscillator is kind of getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And even lately, when it dips below the zero line, I mean, look what happened the first time back here after this peak, that is. First time below the zero line, really small. Next time, even smaller, or higher, you could say. And then it starts making lower lows and then a much lower low. And so it's kind of picking up strength to the downside as it makes as the bears make exploratory pushes to the downside. So just be really cautious about that right now, and just trade what the market is showing you, trade what it gives you, and don't have too strong of a bias in one direction or another, and just try to be flexible. Whichever side sets up, whichever direction sets up, that's the way you're going to want to go. Now let's take a peek at crude oil, and crude is just continuing. Oops, let's see here. Just dropped offline. Hopefully my video is still going. It looks like my broadcast is still going. Weird. Anyway, crude oil still continuing to march higher as it has been for some time. And I believe I actually mentioned this. I think it was Friday. Or no, it couldn't have been Friday. Market was closed on Friday, so it had to have been Wednesday, I think. I was mentioning that this trend is intact, and the oscillator is gaining in strength as each push higher happens. And right now, we certainly have set a higher oscillator and have broken out higher. So that's all great. However, the oscillator is declining, which happens. Anytime you get a push up, you get a decline in the oscillator, and then another push up and a decline. So that may not be really that big of a deal, but it's just something to pay attention to. Right now, however, the trend is definitely up. There's no question about it at all. Higher highs and higher lows. And this trend is perfectly intact. Every time you get a pullback to anywhere around the 21 EMA or even slightly below it is a great long entry opportunity to add to this position or to initiate a position if you don't have one currently. And we're just looking to ride this trend as long as we can. The major sell zone is going to be way up here. And until we get there, pretty much it's nothing but green lights, at least on the daily. On the 60-minute, we do have an uptrend line here, this yellow dashed line that's moving up, and everything is looking pretty good there. We keep breaking higher, and the oscillator has recently increased its momentum significantly, which is why we had that little spike there. Actually, sorry, oops, that's a daily chart. That's not that spike. Let me zoom in here a little bit. I usually have my 60-minute chart on the left on my day trading setup. So anyway, oscillator is certainly gaining in strength and then cooling off a little bit, which is what markets need to do. We have big pushes up, and then we need to go sideways for a bit or pull back a little bit, and then we can have another push up and pull back. And it's always that 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That is just the way the markets move. So right now on the short term, the MACD is crossed below the signal line, so it's looking like it needs to sort of bleed off some of this excess energy from this big push up that happened. And we need to wait and see. Right now, we don't have a clear direction. It's just kind of range bound in this area. And we're either looking to trade in that range. And if you want to scalp just little moves and you're buying the bottom of the range, selling the top of the range, that kind of thing. Or you need to wait for price to confirm a direction, either above or below, and hold. Right now, it has not been doing that. So right now, anyway, the bigger trend is up. The short-term trend is just basically sideways, not really going anywhere. So got to wait and see what crude wants to give us. And then I would be just looking for an opportunity to initiate a long position. So any kind of a pullback you can get, that is going to be your chance to get long, and then have a low risk entry. You can just put a stop on the other side of maybe the 21 EMA, or if you've got the account size to handle it, you can put your stop below the recent low. And that's a decent place as well. All right, let's take a peek at gold and see what the glittery stuff is doing. And it has just been, trying to pull back and finish what I had identified a while back, a couple weeks back, as a bear flag. And so far, it's gotten very close. We're not quite to my 100% target, which is what I was looking for out of this move. Will we get it? Will we not? Hard to say. Right now, it's come down to this previous channel line, which is still very much holding. You can see it came down to it, poked below, and immediately came right back up onto the trend line, the upward sloping channel line, and is just holding there. So right now, anyway, we're holding sideways in just a fairly small range. But it did that before, right? It came down, held sideways, even tried to go up, and then broke down again. And this is what markets do. We have lower low, lower high, lower low. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to form a lower high before eventually finishing up the pattern and getting down to the 100%. So that is what I'm looking for out of gold. We'll have to wait and see if we get it. Right now, the oscillator is not really giving us any crystal clear clues. We've got kind of almost a triple bottom here, 3 different points down at a similar area on the oscillator. Price is continuing to move lower while the oscillator is not continuing to move lower. That is potentially bullish, but that also could just be something that's happening as this move is getting ready to finish. So once this move completes, then the market can continue to march higher. On the 60-minute time frame, you can see that the oscillator has been certainly building strength, building strength, building strength, and then it broke over the zero line and has held above there very nicely. So on the 60-minute anyway, the bulls are in control. We had this additional bear flag, and this is not the same as this one because this is a 60-minute chart. We had this bear flag here, and I was projecting to the 100% level for a target, and sure enough, we got right to it, slightly past it, and now have come back up above it. So it's looking like that is complete. This bear flag, I'm going to actually delete that. It looks like that bear flag is done, and now we're ready to either establish a new move to the downside or reverse and head to the upside. So this is a little bit tricky because we haven't quite completed the 100% here, and maybe we will, maybe we won't. But I think it's perfectly reasonable that we do bounce high, bounce higher, form that higher low, and then come down and finish the 100%. So you just have to trade what the market is showing you right now on the 60-minute anyway. The trend has bottomed out, turned around, and is starting to head upwards. And now we're just looking for some confirmation of higher highs and higher lows on the short term. MACD line right now has crossed below the signal line, so that is bearish. So right now we just kind of wait and see. Got to wait and see if things turn around. MACD line gets above that signal line again, something like that. Then that would be your opportunity to get long if you want a short-term trade and just grab a little piece of this bounce upwards before perhaps the down move continues on the daily chart. Okay, natural gas. And natural gas has been coming down, 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 has gotten almost to this large buy zone down here at the bottom, or at least large for recent history in natural gas, and now is looking to bounce higher. Today, we have a green candle happening, and the oscillator has certainly been moving up, up. It's low here, higher low, higher low. So the oscillator is gaining in strength, and you can see on the 60-minute time frame, we've been below the zero line for quite some time, and now we are popping up above the zero line. All right, my internet is having issues today. That is frustrating. Hopefully that does not continue to plague me when trading begins. Anyway, we've got a large green candle to the upside today, large for recent ranges anyway. Big strong push up and across of the zero line on the oscillator. MACD line has also crossed the zero line. So right now on the 60-minute, things are looking very, very strong. It's looking like we have a reversal here. We have our first sign that perhaps we're going to get higher highs and higher lows. We need confirmation of that, though. We don't have it yet, so we need this to come up somewhere and then pull back and form a higher low, higher than this low here. Once we see that first higher low and we see it hold and turn higher, then we know we're looking at a reversal and we could look to get long. And then on the daily chart, we might get some follow through on that. If we can get the oscillator crossing above the zero line, get the MACD line crossing its signal line, crossing the zero line as well, then we could get some nice follow through on the daily, which could really carry this move and give it some legs. So we just need to wait and see what that wants to shape up to give us. Right now, it's a wait and hold. We don't have a clear anything yet right now. We could be reversing. We might not. It's tough to say. So kind of a wait and see holding pattern on natural gas for me. Now let's finish up with Bitcoin. Take a look at what crypto is doing. And, it's been holding on to these gains. It's been very impressive. It's even most recently in the last few weeks been pushing higher and higher and higher and trying to really establish a nice move to the upside. But I don't trust this move. I don't trust it at all. Take a look at the daily oscillator. It is getting lower. We've formed a lower high here as price tries to get up and form a new high. We've got sort of a double top brewing here. Plus, we had all these wicks every time price got up here. Wick shooting down, wick, 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 lots of wicks. And so there's a lot of sellers up here at this level. And with the weakening oscillator, I don't really trust this, but that's okay because we need a pullback. We need to see a higher low form. So price needs to do one of these, pull back, form a higher low, and then break higher. And that is a true bull uptrend. So this is fine. This is so far anyway, we're holding above the zero line. This is normal, natural market behavior in an uptrend. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So this is what I like to see. On the 60-minute, you can see it clearly. The oscillator has gotten weaker and weaker and weaker, and now it's actually threatening to head below the zero line and hold there. Right now, the bulls have come in and pushed it above the zero line, so it is holding. You can see this trend line here from back here. that is holding as support. Every pullback to that has been a buying opportunity. But again, with that weakening oscillator, I just can't get excited about this right now. The trend is kind of sideways, just sort of moving around in this area here. And we just need to wait and see what it's going to do. But I would be very wary of anything to the long side at this point. I would want to wait to get long for a pullback, establish a higher low, hold as support, and then start to turn higher. That would be your entry opportunity and your low risk entry. So right now, crypto, just watch for a pullback. That's really the main thing we're looking at in the overall, in the Bitcoin specifically. But yeah, the rest of crypto tends to follow more or less what Bitcoin is doing. So when Bitcoin surges, everybody kind of surges to the upside. So just watch for that pullback, form a higher low, and then look to get long. As long as we hold above this level here, which was 44.15, somewhere in there, just hold above that line is what I'm looking for. So as long as we get a pullback, it's a higher low than that, and then break higher. Once we take out that high there, then we know definitely the bull trend is intact and we're looking to head to the upside. Okay, that is it for this morning's analysis. I'm going to go get ready for the trading day, go get ready for our premium chat room and say hi to everybody in there, and look forward to kicking off another great week of trading. I hope you are as well. So one last time, I'm Jonathan van Clute with Stock Navigators. Quick reminder to please do subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Welcome to the new subscribers from the last few weeks, and just good to have you here. And please do hit that thumbs up button. That really helps us out. And give me any feedback, symbols, anything at all. Anything that I can do to help you in your trading and questions you may have, put them in the comments below. We see all the comments and always try to help out in any way we can. All right, that is it for me. Hope you have a great trading day ahead, and I will see you again on Wednesday morning. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.